Hello everybody, this is Doreen here. I just did some cuts in my paper to show you how to make these lovely little boxes. And I made oopsies, and I cut when I should have scored, and I creased when I shouldn't have. And so we're going to try this again. These are 3 little boxes that I made using the Queen Bee kit from Simply Stated Designs. And I did them in a variety of ways. They're all little boxes that'll hold something. And these could hold like a regular chocolate bar, like an Arrow or a caramel bar. Or I suppose at Halloween, you could also put those miniature chocolates in there. Or you could put candies in there, things like that. So this is just a hinged, and it's a paper hinge. It's not a brad. You could very easily use a brad, but for this purpose, it's a paper hinge, and I'm going to show you how to make that. I love that the embellishment does not move when you open it up, and I decorated the back side as well. I did this out of 110-pound cardstock because you need something sturdy for this, otherwise it will fall apart. Love this one with the little embellishment. So cute. And this one here has the beautiful bee paper. I popped this up, and I don't think it needed to be. It's a little bit too high, and that's just the cardstock and some paper, and that works out beautifully. So I made some other sizes. This one here, it's the same. It's a little bit bigger because I thought these would fit a regular, like a chocolate bar, Cadbury bar, and they didn't. I went and got a whole bunch of chocolate bars to fit into these boxes, and I've realized they didn't fit in here. So these ones are a little bit bigger. The dimensions are a little bit different, and they will hold, they actually hold an entire Cadbury bar, not just a half. So you can, and Skittles. It'll hold a bag of Skittles. I tried that too. Happen to have one of those handy. So that size there. This size here is the exact same size in width and how you put it together, except for the Lindor chocolates that are, beautifully packaged in this this cardboard. That needed to be a little bit taller. It was sticking out too far. And this one here is just a scant, like one ticky on the ruler, not even 1/8 of an inch. Half an 1/8 of an inch is there. And so I just decorated that way, kind of plain and simple. So the possibilities to decorate these are endless. And something that we use a lot of is glassine envelopes. I send them out in my kits. Chantel always sends her ephemera out in the kits from Simply Stated Designs, and so I was challenged to come up with a size that's going to fit these envelopes where all the ephemera can be kept, or making a little a glassine envelope, a journal of sorts. So they can all go in there and they fit. So it is the same dimension, same 1/2 inch gusset, but it's just a little bit taller. So the dimensions had changed, and I have a document I'm going to try to attach to this video so you can download that. And although I give the dimensions for the regular size box, which I'm going to do today, and it also has the Cadbury bar, Lindor bar, and for glassine envelopes. So you can adjust these quite easily to fit anything that you'd like to put in a nice, cute little box. These would be great stocking stuffers at Christmas, I think. Even if you wanted to put, all kinds of gifts would fit in here, especially if you made them wider. If you wanted a 3/4 inch gusset to hold something a little bit thicker, then that's easy to do as well. So let's get started. This is my second video because I creased where I wasn't supposed to crease, and I cut where I wanted to fold. So I need to use these as scraps. They're no good for this right now. And you should be able to get one of these small boxes out of a single sheet of cardstock if you don't make an error. So my error, I hope I'm out of that now. So I need the base of this box is going to be 7 by 5. This is an 8.5 by 11. So in order to get 7, I need to take 1.5 inches off. And save this because you need to use a hole punch. We're going to use a 1 inch and a 1/4 inch hole punch for this. And now I need a 5. Let's do that again. And there's my 5 inch. Now on the long side, you're going to create your gusset in the middle, and your gusset is going to be at 2 1/4, 2.25. and you're going to score. And you're going to do that 2 1/4 in from either of the long sides. The long side is here, and the short side, you need a 1/2 inch. And that's simply to build the sides of your box. 1/2 inch appears just about, well, with every one of these, there's a 1/2 inch to be playing with. Okay, we'll put that aside and cut the lid in a moment. So now I've got the 2 scores here and the score at the middle, so I'm going to start in the middle. Find my crease, score that down. So I'm just doing a cardstock one. This is a 110-pound craft cardstock. You can use some good quality paper. Probably 49 in market paper would be lovely. Although to make a box, I don't know, maybe the lid, but the box, you're not going to be seeing that beautiful paper on the inside very much. And there you go. So in order to make the sides of the box, you need to cut that little square there. Don't know if you can see it, but I'm just going to cut in. I don't see the benefit of cutting in a little slit. It seems to work just fine like this. And it seems to be, I'm just going to cut right to that score line. It seems to work out quite nicely. So these little guys will go in, and you're just making a simple box. And when you fold it, you want to make sure it lines up with the top. If you line it up with the bottom and you might have a little bit of sticking out, you're going to have to trim that, and I would rather not trim. So I'm just going to take my art glitter glue and put a little dab will do you there, and a little bit here. I'm going to fold it together, line it up at the front. I'm also going to put my finger inside to make sure that little flap is up. I guess you don't have to do it, but when you're putting in a chocolate bar and it's an exact fit, that little flap that's not glued down in place is going to be a bit of a bother. And now, because I've got my flap folded this way, I want my flap folded this way on the other side. So that could be my front and you're not seeing the seam. Both the seams are towards the back. So I'm going to put a little bit here and some here. Oops. Fold. Line it up at the top. Get my finger in there to press. And we'll just hold that for a minute. So that's your base. That is it exactly. You don't have to do anything else to it. If you wanted to stamp or collage or do other things on this, then before you fold it and glue it in place, you can go ahead and decorate as you will. I think I want to do some couple more of these, but make them into ephemera holders for giveaways, and that'll be fun. So I will be collaging on these, and I'll post those when I've done those because they're going to be fun. Now the lid. The lid is 6 by 4, so I do have a 6. Save your pieces, and I do have a 4. So again, on the long side, it's going to be folded, so that's going to create your lid. So on the long side, you are going to score 1 3/4, 1.75. Both sides. 1.75. That's it for that. So I'm going to score. And at this point, you can also decorate. All I did was take the measurements from this. So it's going to be 6 inches. So and by what? 6 inches by 1 3/4. So all you do is take that measurement and just pull it back 1/8 of an inch and you'll be fine. So on this ruler it would be 2 tickies or 2/16 or 1/8. And now here I'm going to get my corner rounder. Oh, here's one. Not my favorite. What did I do with my favorite one? Must have tucked it away. But I like to round off the corners. They just look a lot neater and tidier. There you go. Now you can decorate it, and that will be the lid for your box. It fits beautifully. So now what we can do is to do the hinge. Now the hinge on this, why does this seem a little wide to me? Nope, I did it right. Okay, I'm going to need about 6 of these, I think. I'm just going to punch some 1 inch. I can get more if I need more. And what I want to do is to punch a hole in here with my 1/4 inch. Now I want it, it's about a 1/2 inch in from either end. So I'm going to put it right about here. I don't want to have it too close to the edge. I'd rather have it more on the paper because it gets a little fragile. So I'm just going to punch that hole. And this hole, you save it. You're going to need it. So I'm just going to fold this over, put a little mark here, and I'm going to, there we go. Now I'm going to use those little circles to draw. So I'm going to take them 1 inch. I need tweezers for this because my fingers are too fat. I'm going to place that in the middle. That's not in the middle. I'm going to hold it with tweezers, thereabouts, and I'm just going to draw roughly around. So I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully. There's my little circle. And I'm going to do a second one for the back. This is going to be the hinge. This is where we're making the paper hinge right now. Yep, you can put in just a brad, but if you don't want to, if you don't have a brad, or if you don't want to do the metal thing, I think this is kind of fun. Now, I'm going to stand up for this so I can see if I'm close enough. I'm going to cut up to the circle and slightly in, and I'm just going to make 2 cuts like this. This is going to be the center, so I'm just kind of giving myself it's just a guideline for me. So in essence, this would be your brad with the prongs or the legs of the brad going like this. You see how that looks? There's the prongs, and that looks like an H on the front. I'm going to take, this is once I decorate it. I don't want to decorate it after. I want to decorate it first and then punch the holes. But I'm going to take these 2 prongs, and they should feed through the hole because that's the hole that I marked. Now I'm going to prefer to have the H going this way. So I've got my prongs here. If you were to trim this, you know, if you went sideways, you would be losing some of your prong, because you can, after this is done, cut that off flat with the edge. I chose to leave mine on because they're going to be covered anyways, and what the heck. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, just like that, only on the prongs. And I'm going to line this up, hold it in place, and I'm going to secure this back piece to it. And I'm just going to hold it for a moment. Then you turn this over, and you are going to put glue only on the H. You put it anywhere else, your hinge won't work. So just put it like that and hold it in place. I'll do the second one. I'm going to cut, so I'm almost at the outside edge because I want the biggest amount of paper to fit through that hole as I can. And you can't do this with flimsy cardstock. I broke a couple and just had to rip it off and redo the hinge a couple times. So there's my hinge. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to feed it through. Do my H this way. Fold these back. A little glue. I got a little bit of glue behind it. Let me get that off. Take another circle and hold that in place. And you're going to put a little bit of glue here too. And there are your 2 hinges, because if I hold this in place, you can see it works because it goes back and forth, but I'm holding this in place. So now we need to attach it to the box itself. And for that, I like a little bit of score tape, and I like glue on top of it, because at this point, that's not tape. At this point, this is where it may fall apart. If you use too much glue, you're going to run the problem of soaking the paper, and the paper is just going to literally fall apart. So I'm putting just a couple tiny pieces of score tape, and I don't know how wide this is. It is 1/4 of an inch, so I'm using 1/4 of an inch score tape. And I'm going to use glue in conjunction with that. I need to burnish that down very well. This is just trial and error. I wanted this to be good, so I wanted it to stick. And that's the only way it'll stick for me, is the glue and the tape combination. I find it just a little bit flimsy without that added extra strength. So you don't want to be making up a whole bunch of these and having them fall apart. There we go. Let me get rid of that. I'm going to put some glue on there as well. So the glue will stick first and the score tape will stick forever. And I'm going to line it up. Make sure it's more or less equal. And I'm just going to press. Now, if you have a chocolate bar in here, that gives it more stability, that you can really hold this in place. So hold it until it starts to stick, and then open it up and get your hands in there and press against them. Make sure you've got good pressure on it, and just hold it for a moment. So if you're doing this, your box lid should already be decorated, for sure. So you don't want to decorate after this, because now all you have to do is just, because you'll have the paper on this, is just put a little something something there. For here, I just took a bit of the pattern paper and just glued it on the back side just to make it decorative, just to cover it up. But it's the front where you can put some awesome embellishments, and I don't bother trimming it on the sides. I just leave it as is. And that is it. There is your cute little box. So I think, for some reason, this lid came down a little bit far. Where's my other boxes? Oh, no, it didn't. Nope, that's about how far it was. I was going to check my measurement. This one is the same size, a little bit longer, but this is the same size, so it's a taller box, so it's only going to come halfway. I was confused because I thought it would be a little bit higher, but that is the right measurement there. So my document is okay, and there it is. You can use a paper hinge, and there's other applications for these. I think it's fun to try out, and I hope you do try it. So if you liked the video, give me a like and a follow, and set your notification. So there's other videos coming of things that I've done recently that I would like to share with you. So thanks very much for watching and being with me today, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.